Austin. I suppose to some, to be alone with me and to have a conversation, it might be a sort of heaven. But not to you. I'm Jane Austen.
Jane Austen?
Yes. And you are correct in your surmise. I am indeed in heaven, but you are not. You are only in the middle sphere as yet. Why, yes, the powers that be have very mercifully approved of the novels that I wrote while I lived on Earth. I waited long for publication there, but my ascent here was rapid.
I don't understand.
Why, you see, one must have a share of the sacred labor, and everyone does his or her part. It was considered that I might be engaged in a task that I would think heavenly. I always had a sharp judgment, you see, and loved to make the justest appointments in the hereafter for my characters. Now this talent has been still better employed. I am indeed a judge. Not that it is a sad job. In many ways, it is one of the most diverting ever created. For what do we live but to laugh at our friends and to be laughed at in our turn?
Laugh. You can laugh at people's suffering and pain. Oh, you are cruel. I always knew you had no heart.
Yes, I know perfectly well what you have written about me. The passions are perfectly unknown to her. That will be taken into account, Miss Bronte, to give you the name that will be known throughout eternity. I'm aware you are really a Mrs. Nichols.
Do you mean to say that because I did not approve of your writing, I am to be consigned to a terrible fate?
Oh, no, no, no. You have already had your terrible fate, poor woman. I know what your sorrows have been. I would never condemn you for your literary opinions alone. No, we shall merely have a little conversazione, a communion of spirits. And when I have learned all I need to know, you may depend upon me to act justly, rationally.
I see. You think pretty well of yourself, don't you?
Charlotte. Charlotte, is that resentment you are breathing? Resentment is a sin. I will make a note. So, to get back to what you wrote, you think my characters are commonplace, do you? Do you really? Elizabeth, commonplace? Mr. Darcy? Mr. Collins? Lady Catherine? I confess I am rather surprised.
I do think they are commonplace. I think they are vulgar. If liking and enthusiasm for the works of Jane Austen prohibits me from heaven, then I do not want any part of it. Surely love of you is not a prerequisite. Heaven cannot be composed of your uncritical admirers alone.
Yet, in only a few short years after your demise, my admirers, as you call them, will be known as the Janeites. Yes, and heaven will have its very own chapter of the Jane Austen Society. Jasna Heaven. And what meetings they will have. Yes, one of your errors in life is that you never quite realize that the Almighty has a sense of humor. Let us finish our business now. I am rather in haste. Before I begin to write another divine work of my own, I am called to Judge Dorothy Wordsworth. You came up at about the same time, but I took you first by alphabet rule. You seem to me the more interesting, and I really don't want to hear her feelings for her brother.
But you wanted to hear about my feelings for the man I loved.
Yes. You must have loved him very much to create such strong and passionate gentlemen. Not only Paul Emmanuel, but Mr. Rochester. As a matter of fact, he reminds me a little of my own Mr. Darcy.
Well, Mr. Darcy, yes. Do you know, Jane, I believe I may have judged you too harshly. He is not made of wood. He grew and changed and revealed his true heart. I don't really think anyone could have written Mr. Darcy who had never loved.
Thank you for that, Charlotte. And you are very right. I did not copy my characters from life. but their nature, their behavior, was very closely observed by me in other contexts. In fact, you recall I mentioned I loved someone once, and he did influence my writing.
And who was he?
Ah, let that be my little secret. May I present you a gift on this happy day? The first book I completed after my arrival here. It is called Sanditon. I began it when in ill health. I believe the second part is much better written, and the ending is quite happy. A niece of mine tried to finish it down below, but 'twas nonsense.
Thank you. I will look forward to reading it.
I have written 38 more books since I died. One for every year since my ascension, all novels.
Good heavens.
You said you wished to see your sisters.
Yes?
Their predeceasing you was sadness indeed, but now you reap the benefit of it, for they are waiting in the next chamber to greet you.
All of them?
Yes, all of them.
Wait. You did not mention my brother, Bramwell. Is he not here?
What do you think?
Afraid I know. Poor Bramwell. Please, won't you come to be introduced? Emily and Anne are writers too. I should dearly like you to know them.
No, certainly not. Go on, Charlotte, go on. They're over there. Do you see the shining in that corner? Go. Neat! Emily, Bronte, heaven and earth. I read Wuthering Heights. I've been avoiding an encounter with that wild creature these last 7 years. To spend eternity knowing Emily Bronte, dear Lord, what a fate. Fate. Fortunately, heaven is wide enough for us all.